Clip.co University. How to minimize bottlenecks. One thing that happened to us early on, just as an agency, and like we were figuring out our agency's content, we were figuring out our content, and we had this tendency to have to want to like grow an org structure, which we thought was the right idea. Like you would have an editor start with just chopping the thing into place. Then you would have an animator come in and make the thing beautiful on top. And how does the animator do that? Well, they have a designated graphic artist to give them all the assets. And in doing that, in inflating in that way, what we ended up doing was just creating a bajillion bottlenecks. It's like if the graphic artist was out, now the animator couldn't do their job. If the animator wasn't doing their stuff, the video editor, I think I did that the wrong way, but like we were just creating bottlenecks. And I think maybe you could talk about like Elon Musk, either question assumptions, eliminate, or simplify. But like I think now what we do is kind of default to eliminating stuff or simplifying versus adding on complexity or specialties.
Well, the funniest thing to us was we added all this complexity, and then when we radicalized like an Elon Musk or like a Tim Ferriss that's like trying to eliminate this stuff first, when we started eliminating, we realized people weren't using the other stuff. Like they didn't need it. It was just kind of like it built up inertia. People thought they needed it, thought they needed like graphic artists to like make their visuals beautiful, but they were like, actually, it just slows down our process, and like we're an async company, so it's really hard to get quick back and forth.
Well, right, and the best editors just want to. This is kind of how we work as entrepreneurs, but like when you're kind of the best at what you do, not to toot our own horn, you just want to like get into flow as fast as possible and create all of your own stuff.
Right.
So I think the best folks don't need the complexity. They're kind of a jack of all trades within their niche. Like the best video editors can do some artwork and figure out the animation and can kind of pull it all together.
Well, we had this ourselves when we had the podcast, and we'd shoot a podcast and be like, hey, can we have this editor who's like specialized in editing also go and like time cut the clips, and then like, they're kind of bad at time cut, or like basically turning the clips into a good story, cohesive story, just by like cutting parts out of it. They couldn't do that. So we're like, okay, one option is we hire someone that just comes in and they specialize in like cutting the clip down, which we did that for like, we did it for the All In podcast. We just have like a time cutter and an editor, which maybe that's fine if you're like doing it for client work. But what we realized, instead of doing that whole process, adding an extra person to just come and time cut, it's like, eliminate podcast clips altogether. Let's just reshoot that section. And now we just give the video to an animator, and a week later they do everything. There's no bottlenecks. They can just focus on it themselves, and they spit out something amazing. Just like eliminated all these potential bottlenecks and roles.